What is up? What is up? What is up, everybody? This is your boy Is Nefarious, and I am here for another episode. Found GM Neff and the Boston Bruins. We are here. We are dealing with the off season now, and as you can see, we're having conversations. What I want to break down right now, you could have conversations with players in the NHL franchise mode. I love that they added this to improve things like their defense, their offense, select things, and then also you could have their adaptability. So if you want them to change a position, you want them to change their play style, you could have those conversations, and the adaptability also helps them change it faster for you. So once you have that conversation, sometimes if their adaptability is too low, they won't change. But let's jump into the draft. What we're here for, the Boston Bruins are trying to improve the defense. That is our goal. We also have some decisions to make. Who are we going to keep? Who are we going to let go? We are in a change of when it comes to this franchise. We are maneuvering to a different kind of view on what we want to do as a franchise. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to try to shop Morgan Geekie. We're going to look at all the options that we have. Morgan Geekie was okay. He's an okay type of player for us, but I feel like we won't be able to re-sign him. He's making 3.15 right now, and if we want to get an improvement on left wing, when it comes to that first line, second line left wing, we're going to have to get a better free up more space and get a better left winger. Now, taking a look at some of the offers, David Savard is an interesting piece, a right-handed defenseman. He's a little older. He's making a lot of money. You also got Erickson there, who's a more of a prospect that we don't know much about, but decent offer. Let's take a look at what else we got. You got a lot of third round picks being offered. You got Jaka there as well. You got a second in Ralston. So far, that's piqued my interest out of all the trades. You get Ralston, who we really don't need, but that second round pick though is a nice piece, especially since we're trying to build the defense. You got a bunch of different offers, 31 different offers, and I'm gonna be honest, not a lot is swaying me. The one thing I keep thinking about is that second round pick in Ralston. That seems to be the best trade thus far. So is that the trade we're going to go with? As you can see, Martone gets picked first overall to the Porter Martone gets picked first overall to the Sharks, and going to link up with Celebrini and hopefully rebuild that San Jose Sharks team that has fell off ever since the core of Marlowe and Thornton and things like that have left. So let's go back to this trade. We are for sure trading Geekie, that's for sure. But I'm feeling really good about trading him for that second round pick in Ralston. So let's go ahead and do that. Except that, move Ralston. Ralston comes over. We don't know what kind of prospect. He could be a good prospect. We're not too sure. We got to get time will tell once he's in our system and we really get a look at him. Maybe he's a decent little prospect. We're going to talk to him about the offseason, make sure that he builds in the way we want. And, Geeky, we appreciate all the time that he spent with us and all the help, but he has to go. Nothing really for Ian Mitchell. Even though we would like to move him, we're not going to get much. So it's not really worth it at that point. See if we could bring him back cheap to be a seventh defenseman or a guy that goes between the AHL and the NHL when we have injuries and things like that. Now when it comes to the young guys like Patras, do we move him? Do we move Letourneau? Do we move Mitten? Do we move Lysell? We got a lot of young forwards that are pretty much in the same spot, top six type of guys. Merkulov, who needs a contract. I don't think he wants a two-way, so is he somebody we move? He's more of a playmaker. Let's take a look what we got around the league. Can we get something decent for him? Can we get a defenseman? Because we want to rebuild the defense. Can we move one of these young forward pieces for a defenseman? As you can see, a defenseman goes off the board in Matthew Schaefer, 17 years old. Looks like a really good prospect. A nice pick by the Columbus Blue Jackets there. But back to moving Merkulov. Merkulov, is it worth it? Maybe we can move man. Let's, maybe, like I said, move one of these young guys, get a good defenseman back. So um when it comes to these prospects, they all roughly the same. They're all like snipers, playmakers. We want to be a little bit more two-way. We want to be a good defensive team too. So that's all in our head as we shop around some of these players like Wallstrom. You only getting a fifth there, you're getting a fourth, a couple sevenths. You're not really getting a lot of bang for your buck when it comes to Oliver Wallstrom, who is a top 6 medium potential guy, but he is 25, 26 years old. So a lot of people around the league, and he needs a contract. A lot of people, teams around the league are like, yeah, we really don't need him. So at the end of the day, it really is it even worth trading? From what I remember, there's not a lot of good offers here. Like I said, fourth, fifth. You're getting a lot of 4th round picks, a lot of 5th round picks. So it wasn't really worth trading. So from there, we'll hold on to some of the guys. We'll sim that pick. Haggins goes to the Blackhawks. That's a nice pick. Frondell goes to the Ducks. You got Michael Misa going to the Flyers. Victor Eklund going to the Hurricanes. So that's a nice little pickup for them. We're gonna try to trade for the 7th overall pick. Can we get it? There's a defenseman in 6'6" defenseman, a left-hander, if I recall correctly, that we want. I think it was Amico. I think that was the last name. So let's see if we could get that 7th round pick or trade up in general. Can we get a pick from the Columbus Blue Jackets? They want Letourneau. We don't really want to move Letourneau right now. He looks like he's going to be a 1C, 2C for our future, potentially 1C, hopefully. 9th overall pick, we get no offers for. We're just trying to get up from 19, I think is where we are. As you can see, Zaka, they want Zaka. I don't really want to move Zaka yet. I think we could compete next season. We don't have to go full rebuild. Zaka could be a good part of that. Plus, I like Zaka. I like Zaka as a player in real life. So we're going to keep Zaka. He fits what we want to do. Moving on, let's see if we could get the 8th overall pick. They want Swayman and Middlestat. That's not happening. 2 guys we really like in Swayman and Middlestat. That's a automatic no there. So not able to really get an extra 1st round pick, at least early on. Not able to really trade up. You're getting a lot of Zaka, a lot of trades we don't want to do with this team. But maybe the guy we have falls down to where we pick. As you can see, for 12th overall, you're looking at Patras, Letourneau, and a 2nd. You're looking at 2 seconds in Patras, Middlestat and Patras. Just not worth it in the end. So why even do that? You got 2 seconds in Letourneau for 10th overall. I mean, we could think about it, but at the end of the day, it's really not worth it if you think about it. So Roy Bacon goes to that next pick. Bacon, I believe that's how you pronounce his name. He ends up going. You got Hensler there, who's a pretty solid defenseman. You got Jackson Smith, a couple guys I expect to go in these next couple of picks. Then you get closer to where we might get a pick in Carter Amico, the right-handed defenseman right there, 6'6", 213. Really interested in bringing him aboard if he falls to our pick. That's the thing. Will he fall to our pick? We're at pick 8. And we're all the way at pick 19. As you can see, a defenseman goes off the board. We're going to panic a little bit here. We're going to try to see that trade one more time and see if it's worth it and really think about it. Getting 10th overall. So 2nd, which is 38th overall, a 2nd in Letourneau. It hits our offense a little too hard, if we're being quite honest with ourselves. So why do that? Why trade Letourneau just for a defenseman? Not worth it in the end. Maybe somebody falls to us. We trade that. They take Hensler. Trevathy gets picked right after that. A couple more defensemen off the board. And we're hoping that some of these offers change. I doubt they do. But we as a team are trying to see if they change. You got to do your due diligence. You got to go back and see if you could get this trade to go through. So we're going to go and try to get the 12th overall pick if we could find it as we look and scroll through a bunch of teams. I forgot exactly who had it. It's actually the 13th overall pick, and it's the Kraken, and it's not worth it in the end. So we're gonna pass on that. McQueen gets picked up by Utah. You got Tulipov that gets picked up by Columbus. Let's do our due diligence with Montreal. Can we get this pick? What do they want for the pick they have now? Can we go up and get a Miko? Because we really want a Miko, and they don't want to deal with us at all. 0 trades for that pick. They take Lakovic, who's a nice little grab for them, a 6'5" winger that's going to be developing pretty well. Middlestat and Laterno, Patras and Laterno, Kusendinov and Laterno, Patras in 2 seconds. Yeah, definitely not worth it for 15th overall. So we're going to actually pass on this, and hopefully a Miko drops. Hopefully. It's getting real close. It's starting to get into those picks where you're holding your breath every single pick. So Simnat, there he goes. A Miko goes to the Buffalo Sabres with the pick we didn't want to trade for. So now we got to look for a replacement as far as what we're going to pick at our pick. We got Fiddler, who's pretty interesting. You got Sasha Bomadini, who looks really solid. Left-handed defenseman, builds that left side. You got Artyom Vilchinsky. He looks really good. 6'5", 240 pounds, just a monster of a man. So, you could get that Zadorov type of replacement at a cheaper salary. So maybe that's a pick when we come up to our pick. So where to the next pick? Kevin goes to the Senators. We got to make a decision here. Do we go with Fiddler? Do we go offense? I think it's defense all the way. Just doing our due diligence, looking at Fiddler. But mentally, I think we're looking straight. Actually, Fiddler's a defenseman. What am I saying? He's a right-handed defenseman, so he's more on the right side. I think the left side is where we need to address. Actually, both sides could use it, but we still got Charlie McAvoy on that side. We got Lindholm and Lohrei on the left side. Lindholm's older. Lohrei doesn't look like he's going to be that prospect. So that left side's a little more of a need right now than the right side. And that being said, we really like Vilchinsky and we really like Sasha. Both of those guys are looking really good based on their stats and based on the leagues they're playing in, and also just the overall body. 6'2", you're looking at 6'2", 190 pounds for Sasha. You're looking at 6'5", 240 pounds for Vilchinsky. And we actually decided to go with Sasha in this pick. I think it's the better pick, the safer pick. Sasha seems like he could be more of a two-way or offensive defenseman. It's tough to get good ones. So let's go with Sasha, and maybe we could trade up and get Vilchinsky, because we really like Vilchinsky, but he's just a defensive defenseman. So let's see if we could find a draft pick where we could trade up and get Vilchinsky. So no trades for the 20th overall pick, which sucks. They have it on the trading block, but they don't want to trade it. So maybe there's another pick we could get. The Penguins, potentially. Let's see if they'll offer their pick to go up to 21, and then we could get Vilchinsky. He wasn't picked yet. I think that would be a huge get for this franchise if we're able to get Vilchinsky, and we can't even get the pick. So hopefully they don't select him. They select Fiddler, who we looked at. He goes to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Thankfully Vilchinsky's still there, so let's see if the St. Louis Blues will move him. You got Casey Middlestat, you got Kuznetsov, you got 2 seconds here, 38 and 54. I think that is the trade to take right there. You don't have to give up any prospects. You're giving up 2 seconds, and we have a buttload of seconds at this point. Go get the lefty that we need and go get Vilchinsky. So we're gonna give him the 2 seconds for that first round pick, getting us back into the first round, and we can now draft Vilchinsky. So now we got not only Sasha, but we also got Vilchinsky to help out that defensive core, especially on the left side. That I really like those 2 picks. So now we get a second round pick. Let's see if we could trade it away, see what we could get. It doesn't look like anything too crazy. You do get 2/3 from the Penguins, which is interesting if you're able to, get those picks that we just lost out on by trading those 2 seconds. Now we could get them back by trading away this pick for 2/3. So, but before we do, let's take a look at what's there. A lot of forwards, not something we need. We don't need centers. We really don't need left wings. We don't need young forwards. We need more defensemen, preferably a right-handed defenseman. And some of these prospects are pretty interesting. Powell's interesting, Sharp. You got some of them playing in high-level competition. Some of them playing in a lower level, still putting up good numbers. So it's a tough decision, but I think we need to go defensive. You got Sam Johnston there, who's a little further down. Actually, not Johnston. It was Zaron. I think his name was Zaron. But we had a right-handed defenseman that was there, a little further down. Not worth the pick we're at now. So we're gonna trade this second round pick, 58 overall, to the Penguins. Get those 2/3. Get the draft picks we just traded away. Get that inventory back that we had, those assets back, by getting 2 more picks. So we trade that away. The Penguins go up to where they need to be. We get to our next pick, and now we got some options at right D. You got Henry here. You got Bolias, who's a left-hander. You got a right-hander there, and Lucas Moore. You got Bondar, who is actually a German. You got Straka, but we got back-to-back picks too. So we got to remember, we also got an option of getting a forward and getting a defenseman here, because we go back-to-back. So either 2 of these players are on the board for us, no matter what. You got Hrabel, who's a 6'7" goalie. That's an interesting pick. Can he be really good? He's suggested to get. You got Nikolai Bobrovsky, who's a right-handed defenseman. And we're going to take Bobrovsky. We need that right-handed defenseman. But like I said, back-to-back picks. And you know who we liked? We liked Haberl. So let's go out and get Haberl to add to that goalie room, and then potentially flip him. We could flip him in a trade, or we could move Swayman later on late in his contract. And we have Haberl coming up in about, I would say 5, 6 years. So we got the long game there. Now, going back, we already got our right-handed defenseman. We don't need to go defense here. With our next pick, we could go with a forward if we want to. Right now, we're just going to pick what's best available. We're not going to look necessarily at need, but more so of what seems to be the best pick for us. Taking a look at Straka, taking a look at Dingle, take a look at Lindsay as well, Diago Kabanov. You got a few options. Diago's a goalie, not really worth it. We just took a goalie, so we're not going to do that. We got Wozensky. I botched that name. That wasn't even his name. Brzgalov, right-hand D again. Maxim Brzgalov. Can we go with another right-hand D? Potentially. Why not? We could keep bolstering that defense, but at this point, are they going to be a top-tier defenseman for us? So taking a look after, really debating it, we're running on time, a little under, close to a minute left. We got a few good options in this section of players, like I said, but it's tough to tell. And we're going to go with Isaiah Dingle. I think the left-handed defenseman, maybe he ends up pretty well, and we got 3 left-handed defensemen coming up through the ranks. Maybe it's a little overkill on the left side. We're going to try to trade this 4th-round pick, see if there's any good offers out there. Nothing really. You got a 4th in Donato, and Ryan Donato is making how much money at this point? I would assume he's making some money. Actually, he needs a contract, so even worse, we got to sign him, and he's probably going to want some money. It'd be nice to get Donato back in Boston, but not at, not giving up the 4th-round pick to deal with, giving him a contract. Really not worth it. You probably pay him $4 million to stay, or, you'll have to deal with free agency. So we're not going to do that trade. Let's see what we could get for this pick. Not a lot of options. You're really shooting, for something here, but there's no promises. I was looking for a saying, but I couldn't find it in my head. So taking a look at some of the stuff, you got Kuznetsov, you got a couple Russians. We already took a couple Russians. You got Tanner Lamb, who's a 5'10" right winger, and we do need some depth at right wing. I know we talked about the defense and where we want to build this team, but right wing is a position where we don't have a lot of depth, so we're actually going to be looking heavy at that right wing position. Is one of these right wings worth it though? Do we go with a defenseman? I think Lamb is probably the answer, and Tanner Lamb, let's grab him. He adds to that right wing room, which we need. Just another right shot and another guy that could play there. We don't have a lot of pure right wings. We have a lot of centers that we put at right wing, but we don't have any pure right wings. So going to our next pick, we got a few options here. Cicito, who looks pretty good. They're playing in, you got a couple guys playing in A+ competition. You got Ranger as well. Kerkalak, you got Liam Danielson, who's a right side type of guy with the right hand. You got Radley, you got Levin, you got Weir. Weir looks pretty decent. Another right winger, a pure right winger that we can add with the depth. You got Burnett, Jacobison. You got Frosca there, McDonald. You got some different guys. Corey Walensky, who looks pretty good. I think I botched his name again. Mikas, not so much. Philstrom, Frosca, McDonald. We're going back to take a look at Frosca. Frosca again. He's not really the answer. Walensky is. He's recommended, so let's go out for Walensky. 6'3" right wing, fills that need that we need again. So this next pick towards the end, like I said, you're just shooting your best shot and hoping for the best at the end of the day, because you're not really going to get A+ players late in the draft unless you somehow hit a miracle shot or a buzzer beater when it comes to these players. So taking a look, we're going to see if we can find somebody that kind of fits what we need. Take a look at their stats, where they played, how they performed there. You got a 6'7" defenseman. I think that's the pick. Whenever you get a freak, a 6'7" defenseman, could be that Chara. You always try to get it, especially at the defensive position right there. So we fill the need for a defenseman, and then also you get a 6'7" beast that could potentially be Chara. So we're not mad at that. Going to our next pick as we round out this draft, our 211th, Mr. Irrelevant here. Who is it going to be? You got Bates, who looks pretty good. Gents looks pretty solid, a 6'5" center. We're going to go with him. He looks like he could be a nice little piece. And that's going to do it for our draft. We got Sasha, we got Volchinski, we get Bobrovsky, Hrabel, Dingle, Brzgalov, Lamb, Walensky, Kaiser, and Gents. I think it's a really solid draft. We addressed defense, which we needed. We got a couple of right wings, which we desperately needed, and I think we got something to build for the future. But that's gonna do it for this one. Next week we're gonna next episode we're gonna tackle free agency. Hopefully there's a free agent there that could fill out that top line left wing. But that's gonna do it for us today. Thank you for watching. If you're enjoying the content, please like, comment, and subscribe. It's your boy Is Nefarious, and I am out of here.